Liberty in our lifetimes in a free state of our own. That's the vision. That's the dream. We are building it in New Hampshire. I'm Eric Brakey, your host and renegade statesman for the Porcupine Report. Welcome to your source for porcupine news and free-range conversation on matters of liberty. All right, let's hop into the show. Hey there, all you porcupines, you. This is your host, your renegade statesman, your executive director of the New Hampshire Free State Project, Eric Brakey, coming to you for episode 87 of the Porcupine Report. Do you know what day it is? Remember, the 5th of November. Not a day to forget. And for this day, we saved some pretty big news for you, some exciting announcements from the Free State Project. Something we've been working on behind the scenes for quite a little while. We're going to be talking about it with not one, but two guests, Free Staters, both here on the show tonight. Looking forward to that. Before we get there, I do want to, of course, mention our sponsor, which is, as always, Porcupine Coffee Roasting. Oh, here, let me turn this mug around. I always think it's very funny on this side. I do believe that this is a good cup of Porcupine coffee. Now, Porcupine Coffee Roasting is not just coffee. It's a revolution in your mug, proudly operated by Free Staters in the Free State. They roast only specialty grade beans from small producers, always fresh, roasted in small batches to order with a roast date you can trust. Now, if you drink coffee anyway, as I do, look, I'm in my 30s. I don't have the energy that I used to. So to get through the day, I need a little bit of caffeine. And what are you going to be drinking? Folgers, Starbucks? Get out of here with that stuff. Porcupine Coffee Roasting. And we got a great deal for you. Use code PORCREPORT and get 15% off your order of individual products. Plus, a portion of your purchase will go back to supporting this very program. That's a win-win-win for everyone. And they ship all around the country. So you don't even have to be in New Hampshire to enjoy drinking coffee like a real porcupine. And by a real porcupine, I mean a metaphorical porcupine, the Free State kind, the best kind. The real porcupines are nice too. Anyway, so grab your fresh roasted coffee and support liberty one cup at a time. Head to porcupinecoffeeroasting.com and use Pork Report for 15% off. Live free, drink free, stay caffeinated, my friends. All right, putting that aside. Other announcements. This Saturday, November 8th, I've been telling you about it, and I think last week I told you it was sold out. Well, sold out no longer. There was such high demand, we've expanded to a larger venue. We've got a few more tickets to sell, and I want you to come and join us. We are having our one-day political leadership workshop, the Free State Political Leadership Workshop, so you can learn how to be an effective political activist for liberty, to make the politicians do what you want, how to shape the political environment around the wrong people to make it politically expedient for them to do the right things. That's the real nature of politics. These are the exact skills and lessons I learned over a decade ago that empowered me during my first term in the Maine Senate to take constitutional carry in Maine and pass it into law. Still, the only state it's ever been passed through a Democrat-controlled chamber. Now, it's not because of any special talents or anything that I have. I learned the skills at this particular political leadership workshop taught by the Foundation for Applied Conservative Leadership. And we are flying in an instructor just so that you can have the opportunity to learn the same skills and tactics that I did and so many other effective liberty activists have learned over the years. So I want you to join us. Go to fsp.org/FACL, FACL, and it'll take you right there. Tickets are on sale right now. It's a full day thing. Meals are included. You don't want to miss this. And I want to see you there. So come on out. November 8th, this Saturday. I'll see you in Concord. fsp.org/FACL, FACL. All right. See you there on Saturday. Get your ticket. Another thing to mention now, events coming up. We're very excited. We are exactly 4 months out now from kicking off the 2026 New Hampshire Liberty Forum. Now, we haven't spoken too much about it yet. We've been getting things prepared in the background, but that is going to be March 5th through the 8th. So today's November 5th, exactly 4 months from today. And tickets are going to go on sale next week. So look for an announcement there. But mark your calendar, March 5th through the 8th. Tickets will be on sale next week. And we got a great speaker lined up that I'm looking forward to announce as tickets go on sale. So look for that, and we'll have more great speakers that we're talking with a lot of folks and getting them lined up. It's going to be a great New Hampshire Liberty Forum. So mark your calendar and plan to get your tickets when they go on sale next week. And my last announcement, I want to say thank you to all of our, I just did a count the other day, 225 Porcupine patrons. Our Porcupine patrons are those, many live here in the Free State, but not exclusively. There's many Liberty lovers around the country who support the Free State Project because whether they plan to move here or not, they know that they have a real stake in a homeland for liberty where we can take the ideas of liberty and put them into practice and demonstrate to the world that they work. And so I want to say thank you to all 225 of our Porcupine patrons. Every single one of them, and you could be counted among them, gets a Porcupine patron lapel pin, which gets you some nice special perks at Free State Project events. And plus, you get to wear it around and show all your fellow liberty lovers that you put your money where your mouth is. And of course, all donations to the Free State Project are tax deductible. So as we are coming into the end of the year and people are looking for those tax deductions, please think about us at the Free State Project. Now to be a Porcupine patron, you can be one for as little as $100 a year or $10 a month, whatever suits your budget. Of course, there are higher levels, and we appreciate our higher level patrons, everyone who supports our year-round mission as we work to promote, outreach, invite, welcome, and engage all these liberty lovers from around the country and the world to get them here to help us build a free society. It's work year round, and we couldn't do it without our patrons. So thank you to all 225. I'd like to get to 275 by the end of the year, or 300 if I'm really ambitious, because that's a nice round number. Who doesn't want a nice round number like 300? But let's say 275 by the end of the year. I'd like to get another 50 patrons. If you're not a Porcupine patron yet, I would really appreciate it if you would go to fsp.org/give and sign up today. And in fact, when you go to fsp.org, you're going to find some pretty new stuff there. You're going to want to go and check out fsp.org as it is, because it's not the fsp.org that you remember. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. We are launching officially today on November 5th, a new website, a fresh website, a new fsp.org for a new generation. And there's a lot of great new content there and some old legacy content that people have missed. Anyway, we're going to be talking about that today on the Porcupine Report with two individuals, two Free Staters, two awesome activists and contributors who have been working behind the scenes the last couple months and helping us build and launch this new website. So I want to welcome them to the program. We're going to welcome Brian Becker, our IT director for the Free State Project, and Miranda Animus, our master of design, our design strategist, our website guru. I don't know. She's got so many hats. Anyway, let's welcome them both to the show.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you both for joining me tonight. Before we get into the website, because I know there's some really awesome stuff happening with the website. We've got the more traditional kind of static website where you find a lot of the resources for every stage of the pipeline. We'll be talking about that. We also have a more new dynamic site that Brian's been working on developing for more community engagement. Before we get into all of that, though, I think it probably would be helpful for people just to know a little bit more about each of you. So how about we start with Miranda and then with Brian. Miranda, I'll put you on the spot. Could you tell people a little bit about your story, how you came to New Hampshire, your mover story, and what you've been doing all these years as you've been involved in helping to build the Free State?
Sure. So I first heard about the Free State Project when I was a teenager living in Seattle. And what caught my attention wasn't the politics, oddly enough, 17-year-old, not super interested in the politics of it all. It was the idea that people could actually live free and take control of their own lives, respect each other's choices, build a community where personal and economic freedom are more than just words, more than just concepts kind of being thrown around. They're a way of life. And so I heard about the Free State Project through Free Talk Live back when Ian Freeman and Mark Edge were hosting together. And it was my first glimpse of people actively defending liberty and actively living their values. I also discovered pork therapy with Stephanie Murphy back then, which showed me there was a really beautiful emotional side to freedom and self-ownership and personal growth that make it sustainable to live free. And so over the years, I learned so I grew up in foster care. That is a fun fact about me. The idea of self-determination, of truly being free to live your own life, really resonated deeply for me. And so I decided I was going to make the move. In 2014, I officially made the move. I had a 3-month-old baby, a suitcase, and a diaper bag. And I moved. I was living in Hurricane Utah at the time. I flew out of Las Vegas where it was 80 degrees into Manchester, New Hampshire in the middle of a snowstorm. And I thought that I made the biggest mistake. It was so cold. It was like 23 degrees. I'd never been in weather that cold before. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I have a baby and a suitcase and a bag. It was very frightening. And then it wasn't, because I had talked to Free Staters online before I got here. Somebody was waiting for me at the airport. He was like, hey, no problem. Let me take you to your hotel. Let me show you around. This is the Quill. This is where we do meetups. Like, here's all these really cool places. I've got friends you can meet that also have babies. And there was so much warmth that even though it was 23 degrees outside and the coldest I'd ever experienced, there was this beauty. And I was like, oh, this isn't just a movement. This is like proof that voluntary cooperation works, that people will show up. And so where I was living, I was 19 years old when I moved. I immediately got involved because the people who were downstairs from me, I moved into a building with all Free Staters, they were producing Liberty Forum. And so I moved, and then I was stuffing bags for Liberty Forum. And that started this like great journey of volunteering for Liberty Forum and Pork Fest and Fall Fest, kind of doing everything I could to give back. While I was finding my place here in the movement, I went from being 19 years old and doing everything I could to be an entrepreneur and doing freelance seamstressing and integrating into the community where I could, to having all of these opportunities with Free Staters to kind of find this career path of doing training and graphic design, and having like this heart of freedom in this community and finding my path to where I am now, where I'm able to kind of give back so much. So getting to work on this website has been like a really beautiful thing for me, to be able to be like, hey, I was 19 with no real skills when I came. I had a lot of determination. I had a lot of like gumption. I think it takes a lot to move across the country with a newborn. And this community really helped me grow up and become the person that I am today. So yeah, that's my mover story.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Miranda. And I know you've been, since I joined, about 2 years ago, I remember at the volunteer appreciation dinner in December of 2023, when Carla Garrick introduced me and I got to meet everyone. And Miranda, I remember you being one of the very first people, or at least maybe one of the more memorable people, who kind of came up and introduced yourself, and you were very welcoming. So I appreciate the way that you pay all that forward. And Brian, as our IT director, you want to share a little bit about your story, how you came to the Free State, and many of the projects you've been working on?
Sure. Yeah. I heard first about the Free State Project back in 2012. As soon as I heard about it, it was an idea that I had actually had put some thought into of concentrating, the freedom or the voters or whatever. And to find out that exists was amazing. It was, I'd actually found it. I was watching YouTube videos about protecting your rights and defending your rights and things like that. And there was someone on a bicycle without a helmet getting pulled over, and there was a comment on there talking about the Free State Project. This wouldn't happen in New Hampshire with the Free State Project. And so I started down the rabbit hole from there, and I think I signed either that night or the next day. Like it was a no-brainer for me. My daughter was just graduating high school, and she was moving out of the house. She was so I was going to have an empty house back in New York, and I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to move on into something that I was really passionate about, and freedom was the one thing. And after kind of growing up in New York for 30 years, at least 40 years, I was used to complying with everything. Like it's kind of a tyrannical state.
Yeah.
It's a very beautiful geography, everything like that is beautiful, but New York is just...
It's the Empire State.
It's an empire, yes. And so getting out of New York was kind of a no-brainer too. I had intended to go to either Florida or Arizona or somewhere else, but once I heard of New Hampshire, heard of the Free State Project, I made the 6-hour commute eventually. It took me until Liberty Forum 2016 before I actually got out to visit. And that was a big mistake, because if I had gone in 2012, I would have moved quite a bit sooner. I just kind of delayed, I knew eventually.
Bitcoin millionaire, because that's
those
were the years they were promoting it before anyone else had heard of Bitcoin.
yeah. And I recognized the value in Bitcoin immediately too. When I first heard of that, it was about $35 at the time, I think, when I heard of that. So, yeah, if I knew how to get it, I would have bought quite a bit.
I had the shame of going to some of those Liberty forums and not acting. So, more shame on me. Anyway.
So 2016, I visited for the first time. Liberty Forum 2016 was with Edward Snowden phoned in, and there was a gun show going on in the hotel at the same time as Liberty Forum, which was pretty cool. And that was my first experience of New Hampshire. And for that to happen, there were just so many things that were really memorable about that year, and it was great. It was a great experience. I came to Pork Fest that year too, and it took me about a year to collect my things and actually just move. So I moved to New Hampshire in 2017, and I didn't know exactly where I'd fit in, but the tech is something that I've done all my life, and I've watched the websites kind of evolve over the years. In 2019, 2020, I think there was a major change to them all. And that's where I saw that I could actually get involved and make a difference. So I started to look into the IT. I started to look into solutions for some of the things that I saw as problems, and like using Google Calendar, or not having kind of a community forum that we use, or just different things that I thought the community could really benefit from, and that I could add value to that.
Well, Brian, I know I've really appreciated, this time last year we were collaborating on a giant overhaul of our CRM system, which is the kind of thing that people don't see. Like, it's not like the sexiest thing in the world. It's like, we've got a great CRM system. Like, people don't see it, but it kind of empowers everything else we do. It's how we can communicate with people, how we can, build our patron program. So many things that are kind of flow from that. And now you are getting to do some stuff that people do actually get to see. Though some of it's built on, some of the work that you helped execute at Pork Fest this last year with the new mapping system for events around Pork Fest, and I know we'll get into that. You've kind of expanded the use of kind of that system for the entire state of New Hampshire with the new calendar. So we'll get to that in a bit. Let's talk about the website, and we can start with fsp.org, and then there's also community.fsp.org, and you can hop back and forth between them. They are kind of linked with each other on the sites, but they are technically separate sites, but they're intertwined. So Miranda, let's start with you. So fsp.org, and look, we're not going to like pull up the site and put it on the podcast. Like, some people are just listening to audio anyway. And are you really going to squint and look at the podcast to like try to make out what's on the website? But you know what? Any single person who is listening or watching can, as we are talking, pull up fsp.org on their phone or their computer, and they can see what we're talking about as we're talking about it. So Miranda, let's say I am, maybe I'm totally new to the Free State Project and learning about it the first time, or I'm like such a seasoned, person. I've been to a bajillion pork fests. I'm here on the ground. I'm building projects. Either way, they're all coming to this new website for the first time. What are people going to find there?
Yeah. So when because I'm a very analytical person, we did lots of analyzing before we started building. We talked a lot about what we wanted the site to feel like, what we wanted to accomplish with the site. And we really touched on wanting, yes, to highlight and emphasize the amazingness of our community and all the things we're doing. We also really wanted the website to be a resource for people, no matter where they are in their journey with the Free State Project. So if you're at a point where you're like, what the heck is this thing? Brian in 2012, me back in whatever year I was 17 and learning about this. You're just learning. When you go to our website, it's really obvious where you should click. There is a header and it says learn. If you've been here and you've learned about it and you know a lot about it and you're like, I really want to start connecting with the other people. Like I want to learn, learn more, but also I want to interact. There's a connect button, and that leads you to our social media. That leads you to ways to get involved with people here online from a distance if you want. Maybe you're at a point where you're like, you know what, I'm in. I want to go see New Hampshire. I want to visit it. I want to feel it. There's a visit button. There's also a move button, and there's a build button. So if you're here, if you're someone that's been part of the community for a long time and you're like, I want to get involved, maybe you volunteered a long time ago, you're not sure how to reach out, there's a way to do that. All of that is built into the site. We really focused on making it something that emphasizes meeting us where you are. So if you want to learn, you want to visit, you want to build, anything that's there, it's facilitating that action. So giving people the option to, maybe learn more about the activism, find affiliates, different pieces. All of it's like really neatly organized with an invigorating facelift on the content, because a lot of these things have existed on our website. We weren't completely reinventing the wheel here, right? We have beautiful depth to our sites. It's presented in a way that makes it easier to find. You're not kind of digging through content. It's very easy to sift through the site and really key in on what you specifically need in your journey with the Free State Project.
Yeah, I know that, ever since I came on, people have told me, the fsp.org has gone through several iterations over a long period of time. And I know there was a kind of several years back, there was kind of a refresh of the site, and a lot of legacy content was lost. And I understand where that decision came from. People were trying to simplify things and make it more accessible. But a lot of people missed a lot of that legacy content, whether it was new mover stories or just a whole bunch of resources available for people who are exploring the move, and anyway, so that is much of that is back, and some of that is still being imported and coming back. But I know that one thing that I'm very excited about, this was one of the top things people were demanding, was restoring the statement of intent. And Actually, I think it probably, I do want to just kind of open it up to kind of read it, because we did have to slightly tweak the statement of intent. But we have brought back the statement of intent. Now, for those who don't know, the statement of intent was, for the longest time, since the inception of the Free State Project, all the way to the triggering of the move in 2016. Anyone who wanted to participate in the Free State Project would declare their intent to make the move once the move was triggered, once you got to 20,000, to make the move within 5 years. And once that move was triggered, the statement of intent kind of faded away. It hasn't been a real active part of kind of the process for people moving here for many years, but a lot of people kept saying how important that was to them, making that pledge, declaring their intent in their decision to be a part of this community. And so we are bringing it back, a slightly tweaked version, because of course, where we are today in the Free State Project is we definitely want, and our primary mission is getting people who are aligned with our values to move here. But also, we are opening up the Free State Project and the Free State movement to anyone in New Hampshire, native or newcomer, who shares these values. And so you could already live here in New Hampshire, and the statement of intent is open to you. So I just want to read the statement of intent. And so to anyone listening, if you've never signed the statement of intent and you're here in New Hampshire or you intend to move, you can go to fsp.org and make the pledge. And the statement of intent is this: I hereby state my solemn intent to live in New Hampshire and exert my fullest practical effort toward the creation of a society in which the maximum role of government is the protection of individual rights to life, liberty, and property. I am a free stater. That is the statement of intent. And when you sign that, you are declaring that you are a part of this movement. And you also give us the opportunity to keep you in the loop. You do give us your email address and contact information so we can keep you in the loop and let you know what's going on. And that's open to anyone. And it's just it's basically the values there are just the Declaration of Independence: life, liberty, property, maximum role of government. So I'm excited we're bringing that back, and that is very visible and available to people on the website. I'm also excited. One of the new things that's been added is there's so much history now, and people might enjoy learn. There's a new history page. And this is something we may build out more over time, but it's just kind of got some highlights of key moments of the last 24 years of history with the Free State Project. Miranda, any kind of key moments in history that kind of jump out to you when you were putting that together?
I think one of the big ones, obviously 2001, the foundation with Jason Sorens. I was 7. The 2006, when the first Free Stater was elected to the State House. Our first Liberty Forum was in 2007. Kind of the depth of that history, going from 2008 with just 1,000 signers to actually triggering the move in 2016. That's a really quick turnaround for something like this. We've got some great videos and kind of pieces of information in there. And then I obviously had some fun creating the fun facts that are also on that page. So little things for people to find and explore on the site.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to explore, whether you're looking to, again, it's the 5 phases of our pipeline, whether you're looking to learn, connect, visit, move, or build something. We've got resources for you every step along the way. And speaking of connecting, we have a great new dynamic site that Brian has been working on for people to do exactly that, to connect, to build community, and to have kind of a central place where Free State community can gather and do discourse online. Because right now, we love all these other platforms, but people are spread out everywhere. Facebook, X, Signal, Telegram, Discord, and they're not leaving all of these places. They're going to still be using these places, but we now are launching a new community site with a forum and some other features that is going to help facilitate community discourse online. Brian, tell us about community.fsp.org.
Sure. We started with forums, so I'll dive into that first. But the idea for this separate site was to kind of give us a better calendar that we could use on the new fsp.org. So I figured if we're rebuilding fsp.org, I'd prefer to do it without Google. So we're working in that direction now, and that this is the site that can enable that. This is a site that will run in the back end just to drive at the very least that calendar, so that we can use that as opposed to big tech alternatives. So that was kind of the way it started, and we've been craving this community forum, just a place where we can go that is that's hosted by the FSP, that's not dependent on another social media network, if it's regardless of which direction Gab goes or Rumble goes or anything like that, where we know that as long as the FSP keeps this forum intact, then we'll have this to be able to communicate on, and we don't have to worry about where the users are. They can come to us. So my dream would be to see all of the other social medias only just containing a link back to our forum and say, yeah, this is where you actually have the discussion.
Yeah.
So that's got a little time before that happens, but currently the way we have this set up is the calendar, the forum, the shop, our ticket sales, everything is all on this community site. So it'll all be combined. You'll have one single login that you'll be able to access, create events or add forum posts or reply or comment to the forums. You can subscribe to the calendar, comment on events, and you can go into the shop and start ordering the merchandise, tickets, or you can sign up for the patron program and start your donations through there. And we do accept crypto on that. So that's something that we enabled last year, I think, maybe this year. So that is completely crypto enabled, credit card enabled, and yeah, so it's all kind of one single place for all of our interactive things that we might be doing online.
And I will say, I like to think of it as, right now with the Free State Forum, we're kind of releasing it. I kind of think of it almost like it's early access. And it's right now, it's a patron exclusive benefit, at least for being able to get an account where you can post on the forum. And so there are going to be some forums there that are public facing that anyone can go in and see. So that includes some of our friends at like Granite State Matters who compile enemies lists on Free Staters. So, be careful what you post in some of these public facing ones. But we're also going to have like a walled garden, which is just you have to be a patron with patron status to even kind of get in there and see the discussions that are taking place. And one of the benefits that we've offered to patrons up until now, and we will continue to offer, is that we have a patron exclusive Signal group. But with how fast our patron, group has grown, not all of our patrons are in the Signal group, but we've got close to 100 who are. It can get pretty noisy in there with a lot of different conversations going because people want to talk to each other and they go down all these rabbit holes. So part of the idea is this patron exclusive part of the Free State Forum now can be a place where people can do those deep dives, and anyone who wants to be a part of those specific conversations can do that without everyone kind of having all these conversations all at once in the Signal group. And the Signal group still is there for kind of a nice friendly community offering as well. So it's a big prompting. If you're not a patron, we are adding patron benefits all the time, and this is just one of those things. So you're going to want to become a patron. You're going to well, once you become a patron and you register for the forum, we'll see your patron status. We'll give you patron privileges. You'll be able to post and comment on all the public-facing stuff and get into the walled garden patron exclusive forum, and for those more exclusive conversations going on just with other patrons. And of course, that's $10 a month or $100 a year, and it's tax deductible too. So, you know, it's a real steal. Brian, anything more you want to say on the forum?
Just to mention on the Signal group, yeah, it's with the forum, it's threaded. So you have conversations rather than one big long thread that you have to either search through, scroll through, or try to keep up with messages that you're really not interested in. Whereas this, you can actually subscribe to topics. You have an RSS feed for each of the different topics, and you can subscribe from whatever your RSS reader is, your news reader, however you want to access that, or just look through the website and you can see the threaded conversations in a much easier to read and easier to follow format than any other group like Telegram or Signal or any of these groups that are not threaded like this. So that'll be a nice benefit, I think, to improve our efficiency and accessibility.
Yeah, a great benefit. I hope people log on, register, take advantage of it, and help us. And it being an early access, like this, as I understand it, there many years ago there was Free State forums or something similarly titled, and they were very active. And I'm told that they went down at one point, and stuff unfortunately wasn't archived. Which is a big part of our history. So that's a shame. But we're bringing it. So, but this is coming back in a new forum, and I imagine this is going to be a hub for Free State community discourse for a long time to come. So the people who get on now and register now, and you got to be a patron to do so, but it's not that expensive and it goes to a good cause. You get to be the first pioneers to help us build out this new digital space and this digital real estate. You get to be there and stake your claim first, and help us build it. So I'm excited for everyone having the opportunity to start with us. One of the other very exciting things on the Free State community, community.fsp.org, is first of all, the newsletter is going to be published there. So if you're getting you'll be able to find the weekly FSP newsletter that I write with the help of some other individuals on our team every week. So it goes right to your email inbox, but it'll also be there. And of course, if people want to start their own blogs, that's available to you as well. But the calendar, now the Free State Project Liberty calendar has been just central to as a resource for building community and for people finding so many of the events that are going on all around the state. There's events literally going on like every single day in New Hampshire. It's amazing. People don't believe me when you say that, but you come and you see that it's true. Events are happening all the time. And but the calendar up until now has been like a Google Calendar, which has been functional. But Brian, I know, as you noted, like we like to get away from the big tech overlord evil corporations when we can. And in fact, you've built something here that is not just better as far as kind of, something that we control and better for privacy, but also just a superior product all around with a lot more added features. I was going through it earlier today, and it was nice. You've got kind of something there that looks basically like the calendar as I know it, right? Just like a monthly calendar. If that's all I want, I don't want any of the extra features. Like I've got that. But I was amazed to go through and see that there's a mapped version. I can see like all of the events geolocated around the state. I was clicking through it. It's like I can see what the weather's going to be like, the in the area, the region, when the event's taking place. There's so much going on here on the calendar that is just a real value add. Could you tell us more about it, Brian?
Yeah, definitely. So, excuse me, the underlying technology is WordPress. So we've got WordPress running the entire website on both community and the fsp.org. And sorry, let me clear my throat. So the
just talking up your work so much, you're getting choked up.
Right. The calendar is running on a WordPress plugin that runs everything that we're running is open source software. So that's one advantage now that we didn't have before, and we are self-hosting everything. So the calendar that we're using is one that we've used for PorcFest for the past 2 years. We got it implemented in 2024 or 2023, I believe, actually. But so we've been using that for PorcFest, and it has worked great. We've gotten a lot of really good feedback from that. So moving this over and just expanding kind of the region beyond Rogers Campground and expanding it to the entire state was a pretty simple decision. And the server that we're hosted on, everything that we're running, we control the software, the events, the access, and everything like that. So it's all self-hosted, which is another great benefit. The calendar itself, we do have the different views. We've got the map view that shows you can interact with, move it around, look around for the events in your area. It'll show a list of the events and the map side by side, so you can see everything in a really nice and easy to use format. And there are multiple views. So we've got the agenda view, we've got the month view, and each of these has a link that you could go directly to that. So if you prefer one of these, like if you want to always see the map view, you want to bookmark that link. When you're looking at the calendar, you just open that directly, and you don't need all the other fluff. You just kind of get that directly. The other nice thing is the other way you can access this is you can add, all of these have a subscribe link. So on the event, on the calendar, I think on the organizer itself, so you can subscribe to each of these things from whatever calendar program you use. So if you're using Google Calendar, you're using Nextcloud or Apple Calendar or a desktop or a phone calendar, whatever it is, you get a subscribe link that you could enter into that calendar, and it'll pull all of the events in and keep that updated for you. So whatever you're specifically interested in, we've got categories you can filter on calendars. You could just subscribe to that and only see those events.
And then if I can add something.
Yeah, go ahead.
From a very non-technical standpoint, it's way more user-friendly than the Google Calendar is. So there's tags, there's different categories of things. For me, I wanted to look for like an activism thing that I want to do. You can specifically look for that. If I want to look for something that I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in the area, I'm going to be around the Quill, you can look for events at the Quill. You can look for events by region. The map functionality is super useful. It's just like at PorcFest, where if you know you're on a site, you want to see what they're doing, you want to kind of get a feel for it, you can go in and find it. And I am just tickled so much that this functions for the entirety of our state, because it feels a little bit like PorcFest all year round. That connectivity, the ability to leave comments, and you can get directions. Like if I pull this up on my phone and there's the address for the event, I can click the button, it'll open my maps, I can go to the event. It makes it way easier to find where I'm supposed to be. And for me, it's really exciting because it's it feels like all the work that we've done over the years to make this thing function at PorcFest, and it functioned really well this past year. Beautiful. It was really helpful. And then you were like, now make it big, the whole state, all of it worked beautifully. So I'm super excited. I want you guys to go check it out, because I think that it's really going to help with seeing and feeling the community that we have here and getting involved in it.
Yeah, there is something about kind of the geolocation aspect of it that's truly it's kind of like a seeing is believing thing. I can look at here's a day where there's these 5 different events going on, but seeing like, oh, these 5 events are all happening in different corners of the state. Like I could go anywhere. Like the Free State movement is in fact everywhere. The community is everywhere. Things are being built. Events are being put on everywhere. I don't know any other state with a liberty movement that can claim that. So I'm excited. I'm excited for our participants and viewers to go and check it out. Maybe they are already as they're listening to this podcast, because they should be. That's what I told them to do. Right? Go check it out. And if you haven't been to an event in a while, like go look at the events. Find one that's interesting to you. I will tell you, I was really happy this past weekend. For the very first time, I went out to the Sunday Gruck. Every Sunday they do this in Candia, which is not as far away from me as I thought it was. And it's just like a 5-mile hike with weight on your back. It's like it's a bunch of men being men. My testosterone levels, I think, went up a little bit from this. And it's like I'd never been out to it, but I decided, all right, this is the week I'm gonna do it. And there's events like all the time. I'm missing so many events. There's so many things going on all the time. And I think a lot of times people think like, oh, like Free State Project events. Is this like a bunch of people sitting around talking about Murray Rothbard? It's like, I mean, if you want that, I'm sure you could have an event and people would show up for that, have a meetup, Murray Rothbard meetup, if that's what you want to do. But it's like, no, it's hiking. It's like, I think there's like a Japanese club. There's like, I don't know, all kinds of interests that people have, that it's whatever you want to build with people who share your values. You can build it here, and you can find your people and build your tribe. So I'm excited that this tool is going to be available to people. I think it's a big leap forward for the Free State movement. So I really appreciate both of you for all the work you put in this, and I hope that as people are going to fsp.org and community.fsp.org, they're signing up, and they're declaring their intent. They're registering for the forums. They're becoming patrons, and I will remind everyone, if you've been thinking about, how do you maximize your tax deductions as you come to the end of the year, become a patron, and you get access to the forum and so many other things. So any final words that you guys want to share before we kind of wrap up for this evening? Looking to either of you, who wants to jump in first.
I'll jump in, sure. I was just going to say, if you do have questions, suggestions, comments, things like that, probably go to the forum. I've got a section already created for website support. I've got a section for help wanted, for some of our volunteer needs, and things like that. So I think anything follow up from here should probably, I'll just direct you to the forum. I could be reached. We'll have contact info other places, but yeah, it should be good.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. Miranda?
I think I would encourage you guys to check out the site, feel the warmth, feel the different pieces, the community that's there. The Free State Project's mission, right? We're building the world's most effective movement for liberty. It only works when people realize they're part of something bigger. You're not doing it by yourself. You're part of a community that exists and is thriving and is proving that freedom works. Check it out, discover like the activism, the entrepreneurship, the mutual support, all of the beautiful pieces of this community. And if something sparks in you, there's a little voice going, you know what, maybe I belong there. I could see myself fitting into these spaces. Listen to it. Come join us. You might just find your people.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you both for coming on. Thank you both for all your work. And I look forward to so much utility we get out of this new website for many years to come. And there's still more to build there. There's still more updates and development that's going to be happening on these sites. But they are live and we are launching. Remember the 5th of November. I won't soon forget this 5th of November, not because we're blowing anything up, but because we are set, that was why they remembered it in the old days. Because we're launching. We're launching these new sites, newfsp.org for a new generation. All right. Thank you both.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks, Miranda.
All right, everyone, that's the show. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you to Brian. Thank you to Miranda for all their work. Thank you from behind the scenes to Renita, our producer for this show, for making us all look so good. A few reminders. This Saturday, the Free State Political Leadership Workshop, November 8th. Get your tickets. We expanded. We had to expand to a new venue because there was so much demand for this. We're flying in an instructor from the Foundation for Applied Conservative Leadership to teach the very same skills that I learned and used to do a lot of things in the legislature, but people always ask me about constitutional carry. And yes, the skills that I learned at this workshop made it possible for me to pass constitutional carry in Maine as a rookie state senator. At the age of 26, I was nobody special. I learned how to be effective, how to shape the political environment around the political class to make them vote for liberty, even if they didn't want to. So you can learn those skills. fsp.org/FACL, FACL. Get your tickets. Be there this Saturday, November 8th. And, of course, again, I'll remind you, tickets are going on sale next week for the New Hampshire Liberty Forum, so look out for an announcement there, as well as a speaker I'm very excited to announce is joining us. And become a patron of the Free State Project, fsp.org/give. Let's see if we can get to 275 by the end of the year. We're at 225 right now. 50 more patrons. Why am I putting up two hands? That's only 10. Anyway, 50 more patrons. Would love to count you in and be a part of our growing patron community. Access to the Signal group, access to the forums. You'll get our quarterly print patron newsletter, which I'm working on right now. I'm a little behind this quarter, but it's coming. And so many other benefits. And one of those benefits too, by the way, I'm publishing a book. It's called The Liberty Candidate Guide to Door Knocking. And we've been behind on sending out books that we've promised to patrons. But if you become a patron at certain levels, we have books by Free State authors that in many cases will be signed by the author. And one of those books will be my upcoming book, The Liberty Candidate's Practical Guide to Door Knocking. I'll personally sign it and send you one, depending on your patron level. So anyway, lots of benefits. Learn about it, fsp.org/give. And furthermore, my opinion is the Federal Reserve should be destroyed. Thank you all very much, everyone.